Итак, всем добрый день. Меня зовут Антон. Я руководитель направления разработки.
Hello everyone, I'm Anton. I'm in charge of development in Xello,
Презентации. Это наш новый продукт.
and I will talk about Xello Datacube, the platform to isolate corporate data from unprotected access. So I will talk about the development of our solution. Working with different companies, we see some common problems with the data security. Although they have different business, they all have same difficulties in providing safety of their data storage. So there are three main problems. It's a big volume of data and formats, lots of different access to this data, on-premises, cloud, mobile, and the third area is the human factor. And the users, they may have their account compromission, and some important properties could be missed in the system of protection. So how the solution looks for the safety in a company? There is a safe contour around the infrastructure, and then there are some separate vulnerabilities covered with patches by different means to fight with intruders. Although there is one significant drawback. If the intruder gets access inside the infrastructure, they may escalate their privileges and get access to the entire company, getting all data and doing whatever they please with this data. As a result, if there is a malfunction or hacker attacks, this leads to some grievous events, financial losses, reputational risks, and problems with regulators, because personal data legislation is getting more and more stricter, so it's a serious challenge. So that's why there is a zero trust approach. It's a world trend. Zero trust concept means that there is a minimum trust to any user. So in architecture, any computer in our infrastructure could be hacked. And so there are the following steps to build a safe environment. First, it's all users go through authentication. All devices are checked for their legitimacy. Even legitimate devices, they are checked for hidden threats. The access is only to the minimum set of resources, and all traffic is encoded. These are the common areas of zero trust concept, and I will explain how we organize this approach. First, it's secure by design. Second is minimizing human factor, because it could be fraud, and people are getting a lot of. If we have some complicated procedure to make some configuration for our system, everything should be simple and convenient. And for the users, if they use an inconvenient solution, then users start to find simpler ways as backdoors to our wonderful system. So the key principle, the convenience of this solution. So what do we offer? And the user device we install our agents, and after there is a two-factor authentication in our agent, it launches a protected environment which is separate from the operational system. So we have set of applications which are authorized, and from this environment there is access through VPN to internal resources of the company. So everything which is made in this environment will stay there without opportunity to move data to another. So the users, after they see and being authenticated, they have our agent window, and they can launch this in a protected environment. So if the user opens a file manager in protected area, this is file manager, and then through the menu they open their own file manager, and they see on the desktop two windows, and for the user they're very absolutely identical, but there is a big difference. One file manager works in his operational system, and the second one works in our protected environment and sees their resources. So if there is a new file made of protected environment, this file will stay there, because in reality this file is created not in his operational system, but in a special encoded disk. So thus there is a division of file space. And if the user opens browser application and opens the application, he will see two applications looking identical, but the application from the operational system is the browser with access to internet, and we're not limiting his work in this browser. And the second browser, launched in the protected environment, has no access to internal. So if the user will try to highlight some data from protected environment and copy them to the browser, to ChatGPT, send some a portion of the code, that would be prohibited, because exchange buffers are divided. So there is a network isolation and exchange buffer isolation. In addition to Google Chrome, you may launch any application which works on this operational system. And instead of Google Chrome, it could be the developer environment, it could be 1S accounting. So any applications could be launched in this protected space, and all protected environment data will stay there and never move to personal environment. So they may copy data inside of protected environment. Everything which is required is done inside of this protected space. It's like Word launched in protected space, and feeling no discomfort. Discomfort would be if they would try to do something which is not which is not allowed, like to copy some text from protected area to his personal area. So there are entities created in the working space, determine which resource is available through which applications, and then there are specific applications. So we may create the accounting space and determine the 1S server and allow 1S application. For developers, it could be GitLab and different applications for development. So each group of users will work within their area, exchange data within their area, and they could not copy data from this environment to their computers. In the middle, we have company resources, GitLab, and on the sides there are two users, Boris and Olisa.
Для первого пространства в Jira Confluence мы
So for the first
имеют доступ,
space, we determined that both
соответственно,
users, they have access through browsers.
зайти в Jira
So Alisa may come to Jira through a browser. Boris also has access. He may comment on this. And they're talking within this space. We are creating the second space, which is a file storage. For file storage, we allow applications such as Word or File Manager, and a document could be created to be signed, and then Boris comes to the file storage, downloading this document into his protected area, and then there is exchange. But to take this secure document and to upload this to Jira, it won't happen because these are two isolated spaces. So that's how we get isolation, not only between corporate data and user system, but we may split corporate data on different segments, prohibiting to move data between these segments.
Что в итоге мы получаем?
What do we get as a result? In addition to classical protection systems, when we encode the entire traffic, when we have authentication and legitimacy check for any device, we have additional protection echelon. So if there is an intruder getting access to the employee's device, they will see only personal data of this employee, because all corporate data is located in the protected area. So Metasploits and encoders on the employee computer won't be able to compromise the corporate resources. So if the intruder somehow gets to the protected area, from this protected area, there is minimum access to company's resources. It's like one server. And secondly, to launch within this space, it's only the applications that are allowed. So inside the file system, there could not be no viruses or encoders, because our agent determines what will be in that space. If the fraudsters start to download data from protected area, they will have a problem on how to extract this data from protected area into the host system to steal this, because this space is isolated and there is no direct connection between the host and the space to transmit data. So what do we get as a result? First of all, we're limiting load on the infrastructure, because all policies are processed at the agent. There is no extra traffic. And it's like VDI solutions when there is a special server or with a virtual machine. Here we are saving because all computing is done at our computers. We don't have to have supercomputers for safe work. And secondly, we have data isolation and encoding. So this protected area is divided. It's fenced from personal area. So the user cannot copy, whether by chance or otherwise. Also, there is an access panel. What kind of access is required through which application, and then to a contractor we may give access to this environment. We may send them the agent. The contractor will connect, doing everything which is required, and then we would switch off this click. And number 4, it's invisible security. The user is working using
максимально интуитивно понятно. И он
the applications that they like,
замечает, что он работает то в своем личном
and they do not
пространстве,
notice
то
that they are
в
working
защищенном пространстве,
on their personal space
пока он не попытается сделать что-то неразрешенное ему. Только тогда
unless they do something unauthorized.
пространство.
Only then they will see that these two environments are
На
divided.
самом деле все. Большое спасибо. У нас
Well, that's it from me. Thank you. We have our
я там могу наглядно
booth. If you have any questions, you can approach us and I can show you how it works in practice. We have both agents and the configuration panel. Please follow our news.
Вопросы, если есть какие-то, можно сразу задать.
Any questions?
Как пользователь попадает в защищенное пространство вот с точки зрения?
How do the users get to the protected area? And what prevents intruders to do the
У
same?
него есть агент, он там вводит логин.
The user have an agent with a login and password and second factor authentication,
Именно на уровне нашего
and they get there on the level of our agent, and the agent
на выбор,
in the same window offers what kind of application to launch in this environment.
Ну, даже если
The intruder,
туда попал, он попал.
even if they get inside,
Окошко для
they see the window to choose applications, so they cannot start exploiting the data inside of this environment.
Понятно, да, тут
They won't be able to extract this data because it's an abstract concept.
Скажите, пожалуйста, вот, допустим, у нас пользователю не нравится то, что
If the user does not like that he needs to run from his computer to protected area, and he decides to sabotage this, he can start working at his personal area, and he may create some important files. And if he needs to download protected files from the internet, this has to be done through the administrator. What prevents to sabotage? On the personal computer, there are no access. It's an ordinary operational system. They may start writing a code, but from zero, because usually developers, they come to GitLab, downloading a project and improving it. So that would be the first step. They need to get a code to work with. And in order to get the code, they need to open our agent, select the IDE soft, and to use a project from GitLab. So they won't be able to sabotage unless they do something from zero. And the second part of your question, if from you need a file from the internet, as to moving files, this could be configured. So technically, one of the ideas is that we allow from personal space to move, if they need text to move from into the protected environment, this can be allowed on the level of administration. So from personal space, they can move to the corporate, but they won't be able to do the same backwards. So if they need to send the code, that is only through the query to the administrator when extracting a file from corporate space to personal space. This should be sanctioned or authorized.
Здравствуйте. Хотел спросить, с какими операционными системами вы работаете?
What kind of operational systems do you work with? Good question. Currently, we are just demonstrating our product. In August, we are planning to have a full-scale release for Linux. Astra Linux and Ubuntu,
поддержим еще что-то.
and probably the same year we would support something from Linux family
Windows,
and other operational systems. Windows
может быть, если
we are planning to launch next year,
в следующем году.
and we can launch also.
Вопрос, а как прокидываются устройства, например, принтеры?
And what about
Хороший
peripheral
вопрос.
devices such as printers?
Если они сетевые, то
Printers, if they are network printers,
политики сетевых доступов,
then we have a policy of network accesses.
рабочего
We
пространства,
may allow a printer for the
с ним работать.
working space, and you can work with it
Обычно
by
USB
network. But if you connect
рассматривать технически можно, и
just a printer through USB,
какую-нибудь проверку
technically you can do that.
устройства, но пока
You can check the
как перспектива, может быть,
device ID, but we can do that as a perspective in the future.
Тоже интересный. По поводу проблем перекрестного доступа между изолированным сегментом
The
пользователь Борис.
isolated segments
Данным финансовым для разработки.
cross access.
Данные примонтировать друг другу, чтобы передавать коллеге, который доступ не имеет.
What if one user
есть три пространства, они полностью
selects data and sends data which
но так
is not
бывают ситуации, когда нужно передавать
the other user does not have
ответственность.
access to this or rights?
То есть как
Well, there's authorized role which determines
корпоративного пространства
that something should be transferred from corporate space to personal space.
Но в любом
A
случае
ticket is created,
контролировать
and somebody has to control it.
Нет, ну вот то, что
Somebody has to approve it.
имеет root права, для того, чтобы
But if the user has root
передавать
rights
которые не имеют
to send this to the colleagues that do not have access to this, like making a block, shadow block, where there is data from corporate, financial, and GitLab,
То есть у нас
how to fight with this.
во внутренней инфраструктуре
Administrator is in the internal infrastructure and starts to unite resources. And if Boris would send data
ну тут, наверное,
to Alisa, sending financial information,
про наше решение. То есть если у нас
probably this is not about our solution,
серверную начнут,
because if the person comes into the server and tries to
которых вообще
reconfigure
то это
switches,
больше
then that is
тут
not about our solution.
надо организовать так сеть, чтобы никакой
You
связанности
need to organize the network that there's no connectivity. No one can transfer anything.
Весь контроль это должен осуществляться через
So all control should be done through the single point.
Спасибо.
Okay, thank you.
Здравствуйте. Хотелось бы узнать, приложение как-то защищено от визуального шпионажа? То бишь, если на хост-системе осуществляется какой-то вредоносный пост,
Espionage. If there is a
экрана,
video recording or print screen,
сейчас еще на стенде этого нет.
we are planning.
Планируем
We don't have this on at our booth, but we are planning to launch it. There will be watermark, and watermark would write the user name, time,
запись все равно
like
осуществить,
conditional
легко будет установить, от кого она была осуществлена. То есть от кого.
measure. You could spot the leak where it has leaked from which user.
Вот там есть.
Добрый день. А вопрос, если сотрудник, он же злоумышленник,
If the employee
или иные файлы,
and he is the
или защищенные
fraudster
системы,
trying to download
например, если у него
files,
браузеру, открыть
if they have access to the browser,
мессенджер,
like opening
просто
email or messenger,
телефона или
and just send to himself or to
В том, что у него в защищенном пространстве
to the-
есть браузер, но с сетевыми ограничениями.
there is a
Браузер
browser,
доступно
but it
ровно
has network limits, only
не должны
authorized addresses.
ресурсы,
So as administrators, no internet
ему будет
resources are allowed where
внутри
files could be uploaded.
только внутренний
So in the browser,
корпоративный,
they can use only internal resources, corporate resources that they need to work with.
среди разрешенных появится,
If
то это будет
there is a mail
его там в идеале вообще
cloud, that would be
интернет
the
защищен
point of leakage.
не должно.
It shouldn't be there. There should be no access
Личное
to
пространство,
internet.
пожалуйста.
Everything that you need on the internet you can use through your personal space, but not for corporate files.